Hi Year 7, welcome back to another violin and viola lesson. We're starting to get ready for our progress review, which will be happening next week. So today we are going to try and finish looking at footprints in the snow so that you are ready to perform it next lesson. Before we do that, let's warm up by looking at our D major scale again. The notes should feel quite familiar by now because we've done lots of variations of it. But last week I asked you to practice doing one where we slurred, which means where we sort of join together 2 notes per bow. So it sounded something like this. And I asked you to focus on the tricky corner in the middle where we have to make sure that we switch from open A over to D3, but with no gap in our bow. And on the way up, like that. Okay, so before we even attempt the scale, what I'd like to do is to try just looking at those corners, and I want us to start with all 3 fingers down on the D string. So if you're a violin, that's your 3rd string from the right. If you're a viola, that's your 2nd string from the right. All 3 fingers down like that. Starting on a down bow and going on to open A, and then resting for 2 beats and doing the same in reverse. So it will go like this. Rest, 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 rest. Can we just try that? We're making sure that our D3, so the G, is really in tune, and we're also making sure that our bow is crossing that string without us even being able to tell that that's what's happening. Okay, so get your bows ready. Check that your thumb is a smiley face, not a frown. Smiley face. Check that you can tap your little finger on the top. Check that your thumb in your left hand is opposite your 1st finger. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. Rest, rest. Good. All right. Now, if you're still finding that it sounds a bit jumpy, then that's just a good thing to practice to start off with. Okay. Now let's try and play the whole scale all together. Okay. While we're still warming up, can you just try and mime along as I play it, just so you're waking your brain up and getting in the right frame of mind. Okay. So you have your violins and violas up, have your hand ready, but don't worry about the bow. You're just going to mime along as I play it, and I'm going to say the numbers of the fingers that I'm using at the same time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Good. Hopefully you were with me there with your miming. Let's try straight away and play it now. So place your bow halfway between the bridge and the fingerboard. Check your thumb is a happy face. Check you can tap your little finger on the top. Check your thumb is opposite your 1st finger. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open A. Back down. Move over. Very good. I want you to stick with trying that variation of D major scale for another week, just so it takes you right up to the progress review, and then we'll move on to something slightly different after that. Okay, so last lesson we started looking at footprints in the snow, and we actually just looked at the first 2 lines. Now, right at the end of the lesson, I sort of pointed out that the 3rd line is exactly the same as that very 1st line. It's exactly the same. So actually we're looking at the first 3 lines to start off with, just to recap. Okay, so what I'd like us to do, just to sort of renew our memories and properly recap this, is I would like us to just quickly go through the Kadai sounds for the first 3 lines. What I'm going to do is, while we're saying Kadai sounds, I'm actually going to just quietly play the melody, so we're straight away joining together what it should sound like with what we're saying. Okay, so Kadai sounds, just take a few seconds to have a look, just to remind yourselves. We've got some tas in there, we've got a couple of twos, and we have a ta, and don't forget that rest at the end of the 2nd line. Okay, here we go, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 2, ta, ta, 2, ta, Next line. Ta, 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 two, ta, ta, two. And stop there. Very good. I'm sure you found that quite easy. So we're just doing it just to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, next step. Just a few seconds, because I know you've all been practicing this, just a few seconds to remind yourself what the notes are, and then we will sing them together. So whether it's A, B, C, D, E, F, or G, and remembering how you can check using your stave here. So if you're reading the C clef, if you're playing the viola, C is on the middle line. If you are playing the violin, you are reading the G clef, and G is on the second line. And then we can use the circle of notes. So just a few seconds to work out the notes. Okay, let's give it a go. Let's see if we can sing the notes straight away. Again, I'm playing it quietly just to give us an idea of what it's meant to sound like. Okay, so starting on G, there's your first clue. After 4, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. G, 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 F, 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 E, E, D, E, E, D, A, 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 B, B, A, A, D. Next line. G, 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 F, 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 E, E, D, E, E, D. Stop there. Good. This time, can you please join me? Can you play it pizzicato? But this time I want you to say the numbers of the fingers that you're using as we play it, okay? So starting for all of us with 3 fingers down on the D string. So violas, that is your 2nd string from the right. Violins, that is your 3rd string from the right. Okay, so pizzicato, but the numbers this time. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0. Next line. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0. Stop there. Excellent. All right, let's see if we can play them with the bow this time. I will still shout out the numbers, but I want you to see if you can just really concentrate on making a beautiful sound. So let's get set up properly. Let's make sure we're holding our violins and violas properly. Let's check that our thumb is opposite our 1st finger. Let's check that our sloth can breathe. Let's check that there's a gap underneath the neck of the instrument here, so that you can see it underneath the neck that there's a gap. Let's get our bow ready, halfway between the bridge and fingerboard. Check that your thumb is a smiley face. Check that you can tap your little finger on the top. And starting with 3 fingers on the D string. Here we go, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Next line. Next line. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and stop there. Excellent. Okay, let's look at the next line. So we've done the first 3 lines. The next line is slightly different from all of them, okay? So I just want you to take 10 seconds to just figure out, for the last 2 lines actually, first of all, can you please figure out the Kadai sounds? Take 10 seconds to figure out the Kadai sounds for the last 2 lines. Okay, after 4, let's give it a go. So this is from line 4, the Kadai sounds after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. Ta, 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 ta. Excellent. So just looking out for the last couple of bars where we have ta, ta, ta. So just 3 notes there with some rests in between. Great. Can you now try and figure out what the notes are? Hopefully this is getting easier every time we do it. It does just take a while for it to become almost like a second language. Okay, so figuring out the notes, I'll give you 10 seconds for the last 2 lines. Off you go. All right, after 4, let's say them together. If you can try and sing them, even better. That's our first note. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 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 F, 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 G. E, 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 F, 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 G, D, G. Good. I think the ones that look a bit unusual compared to the rest of the piece are actually the last 2 notes, particularly the very last note. So violins, don't forget if it's got 2 lines there and it's quite away below the last line of the stave, that's your open G string. And violas, it's still your open G string, but it sits on that bottom space there. Okay. Can we now please do exactly the same thing? So singing the notes, just so we make sure that we're familiar with them. But this time I would like us to mime them. Okay. So get your hands ready. So first finger on the D string, and we are going from the beginning of line 4 here. Okay, so starting on an E. 1, 2, 3, 4. E, 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 F, 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 G. E, 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 F, 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 G, D, G. Great. All right. Can we try and pizzicato those last 2 lines, please? I'm not going to ask you to figure out what the numbers are. I'm going to ask you to do that straight away now as we play it. Okay. So instead of saying E, we could just say 1 just to help us out. Okay. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Oh, oh. Excellent. Okay, next step, obviously, grab your bows. Same thing. This time, try and say the numbers out loud just to help you because you've got quite a lot of things to think about. I'll be doing it as well if you'd rather focus on your playing. Okay, so starting on D1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Oh, oh. Now, I'm sure you've already noticed that the last 2 notes are played slightly differently, and there is something above the last 2 notes that looks like someone's tried to write pizza, but they've forgotten the A at the end of the word, and it's pizz, which is short for pizzicato, which you should remember is where we play plucking the string, and we use that as part of our practice routine anyway, so you should be very familiar with that technique. So we're either playing with the bow, which is called arco, like an archer would use a bow and arrow, so arco, or pizz, short for pizzicato, which is plucking. So in this piece, we're playing using our bows. We're arco for the whole piece right up until the last 2 notes. Now, if I just show you that last line, it basically means that we don't have time, like we've done in the past, to quickly put down our bow so that we can pizzicato. What we actually need to do is we need to stay as though we're bowing. And then we just stick out our first finger so that we can pluck the string there. So you're still holding your bow correctly, but you're just using your first finger. Okay, can we just try that? Can we just hold our bow correctly, stick your first finger out, and then just try alternating between D and G. D, G, D, G. You'll notice that the vibrations keep ringing through the rest, so the sound keeps going. So what we can do is we can dampen the string, we can stop it from vibrating by using our left hand, okay? So we pluck with our right hand, stop the string with our left hand, pluck, stop, pluck, stop, pluck, stop. Try and join in with that. it just means that we have a true rest then. There's no sound carrying on and bleeding into the rest. Can we just try that very last line, please? Okay, so complete with the pizzicato, making sure you look ahead so that you're ready with your first finger to pluck those last two notes. Here's the very last line after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now get ready and pluck, stop. Excellent, really good. So we know how the whole piece goes now. In a moment we're going to try it with the backing track. Before we do that, I would like us to just try and play it from top left corner to bottom right corner. So from start to finish, just so we can put it all together, which we haven't done yet, all right? And we're going to try that straight away. I'm going to be saying the numbers to help us out as we play it. It's up to you whether you'd like to do the same thing. You might like to just try and listen out and make sure that you're focusing on your sound. Okay, so instruments up, ready for our first note, which of course is 3 fingers down on the D string. Bows on the string. Check our little fingers tapping on the top. Check our thumb is a happy face. Check our thumb on the other hand is opposite our first finger. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Next line. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. Last line. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, and hits, damp. Excellent, really good job, well done. Okay, now the thing to bear in mind with the backing track is, as with most of our pieces, it is a little bit faster than we've been practicing so far, which is why you only try it with the backing track when you've had a really thorough practice of the piece without the backing track and you're confident that you can manage it at a slightly faster tempo. Okay, so what I'd like to do is I'd like you to mime along once while I play it along to the backing track, just so you're getting used to the tempo, and then we'll try it together with the backing track. Okay, so instruments up, miming it through again, just so we're used to the faster tempo, and here it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Line 3, go. Last line, go. And pluck, damp. That's it. So it's a little bit faster, but I definitely think we can manage it. So to finish off with today, let's see if we can perform it all together along to the backing track. So instruments up, bows on the string. We're starting with D3, so all 3 fingers on the D string. Check your bow, check your thumbs, check your pinky finger, check your thumbs opposite your first finger, and here we go. After 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 1, 0. 1, onto the A string. All 3 down on the D string. 2, 1, 0, 1, 0. Back to D1. And damp. Good job, well done. So for your homework this week, ahead of your progress review next lesson, you still need to be practicing your D major scale. So that we're still making sure we're making a really strong and beautiful sound. And I would like you to practice all of Footprints in the Snow, ready for next week, along to the backing track if you can manage it. Good luck and enjoy your practicing.